In today's Gundam card game feature match, we're showcasing new support out of GD04 with Red Pure Zeon Rush up against Red Saviour Gundam Ping. Let's jump into it.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Wreck here with ARGO. As always, if you guys enjoyed today's feature match, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future content. Let me know your thoughts down below about what you're looking forward to most out of GD04 now that that's in full swing. Got some openings here posted on the channel. A lot of other people opening product as well, showcasing the hits and the alts, all that good stuff. Had a chance to experiment a little bit with some cards out of GD04. And this list in particular, on the left, plotted by myself, is that Green-Red Pure Zeon list. We're going to be running it with copies of the new Zeon. Very, very interesting choice to keep that board state present, even with the little rookie units there. And then on the right, plotted by our local buddy here, dubbed El Original Taco. He's running it with Red Saviour Ping. Really trying to lean on the Barbatos package there to give a good early to mid game and then have the purple cards in the trash for the Saviour Gundam there for the full board Ping for the 2. Very interesting choice of card, given that it kind of lines up nicely with the list there with the Ping, the spread damage and everything. Very solid combination going in there, but it's really going to come down to if he can tempo with the early game aggression of the red-green. I'm missing a little bit of that draw that 1 Year War green-blue package has, but still curves out decently nice in the early game there. It just comes down to seeing those proper combo pieces in the mid to late game. So early on there, I'm taking the first move there, following up with a pretty standard start for green. You see that Zaku 2 out there. We have the rare Char Zaku 2, not the starter deck Char Zaku 2, unfortunately, in this situation. Much preferred to see the other one there, but not too bad to have the other in this instance, although against purple, not super ideal. That Ping is just going to take out that 3-1 token pretty easily, depending on if he sees the right cards. And then on the right there, he's got that Barbatos first form out there, along with the Ryuseigo Grays 2 custom. Interesting way to cycle. Definitely a good, just general cycler for purple if you need something and you're not playing a white package, but in any event, you have a decent start off here. He ends up trading that Barbatos there with the Zaku 2, the Char Zaku 2, I should say. And he gets that draw with the Ping from the Ryuseigo, so he's able to maintain a little bit of that hand advantage. That's going to be, I think, the overarching trade-off between both of our decks is just that hand management. Unfortunately, I think that with Barbatos, just a little extra bit of draw is going to help him out in this instance to see pieces that he might need. Start off our turn 4 with a Zaku Mariner and a Rick Dom. And the Rick Dom, I'm half good, half not so good with. The Breach 2, in general, is just really good for getting rid of chump units. You can throw a pilot on generically as a pair, but I find myself not liking it nearly as much as just having the Char Zaku 2 rare from GD01. Definitely a little bit of a toss-up between the two there. I'm experimenting a little bit with a green-blue list there. Not super confident in its build at the moment, but it's pretty straightforward in terms of build. If you've seen any of those lists post GD04, and then even going back before GD04, that list hasn't really changed all that much, minus the, of course, Corsica ban there. In turn 4 for El Original Taco, he's going to throw down that second form and the Adapt. He's going to ping the Adapt and the Zaku Mariner there. And I think at the end of our game, they were kind of going over that whole play to see if he wanted to give it to the second form, in addition to the link pair that he has here. Ends up giving himself maybe not quite the right attacker there, with the second form being a bit of a heftier body to contend with there than the Adapt, but a little bit of a toss-up here in terms of how he wants to go about spreading damage across his own board. He ends up trading that Adapt with the Mika into the token. Not the most favorable trade, but still keeping the hand size to about the same scope between the two of us. I'm ahead by about 2 shields and the EX base, so maintaining a pretty strong lead getting into turn 5, not too bad. He ends up seeing that Minerva off of the shield check there. He's down to 2 shield with a base. We end up finishing our turn with the Rick Dom. If you've seen my hand kind of peek here and there against the camera there, I have about 3 copies of the 4 in the deck of the new Zeon. But Unfortunately, just no pilot. Sadly, we need that just to be able to contend. And against purple, the hesitancy of putting a pilot just for the sake of putting a pilot, because we do have that neon in hand there for a potential pair, but that does make us the 2/1 tokens that are very easily pinged away, especially in this list where he's playing red, especially with the Savior, as well as just the general ping with the adapt, as well as potentially the rebake. That 1 damage ping is enough to really contend with a lot of the tokens that this deck generates, making it a half hot, half cold matchup between the two. Getting into turn 6 territory now for El Original Taco. Definitely has to find a way to bring his board state back up a little bit. The 2 second forms aren't terrible, but with how easily I can make tokens in this deck, might not be the most optimal situation to be in. He finally puts a swing on the player, gets rid of that EX base with the second form there with the 3 damage pings on it. It really needs to change up how he tempos in this later stage in the game. I see he has at least a rebake in hand. He may want to throw that down for... He's going to throw the Savior Gundam down here. And he's going to go for the ping. And I believe he forgets to get rid of his other second form that's supposed to take the 2 damage from the Savior Gundam here, unfortunately. That does change up the flow a little bit. Also, an onus on me, I didn't check to see that, forgetting that the Savior hits everything for 2, not just enemy units for 2. So realistically, he should have 1 less unit on the board here at this stage in the game. Getting into turn 7 now. Not looking too good for our hand stay at the moment. We've got 2 Zeongs in hand, the Zaku Mariner and then the Neon. Unfortunately, not super duper ideal. I'm going to throw one of those Zeongs down along with the Zaku Mariner, and then we're going to pass. At this point, I'm really looking for either the 4-2 G-Fred or the 4-5 G-Fred, the LR G-Fred, to throw the Neon on. I don't want to risk throwing that onto the Zeong here and then not having any potential follow-up, being that it's the last card in my hand, or last 2 cards in my hand. Unfortunately, I don't want to overcommit at this stage. And there's one of our G-Freds there, not looking too good. I can see the contemplation if he wants to swing the Savior first or if he wants to throw units down. And I think the understanding here is that he doesn't know if I'm playing any of the ping cards, so if he swings first, or if he swings and plays something else, that might also get damaged as well. We see a Zanzibar. That's going to give us a card out of shield there, give us a little bit of recurve with our hand. I see we add the G-Fred there. Piece that we're looking for to get that Neon on the board, give us something ideal to swing in with. He throws down that rebake from earlier. And he is going to end his turn with 3 floating resources. A little scary there. He definitely is playing with that burn package, so depending on how things shake up here, may change things a little bit. So we do mill the Zeon with the G-Fred in the link with Neon here, so we have the opportunity to ping something. So we end up pinging the Savior. And then we're going to pay the 1 and exile the Char from the beginning of the game to ping the board for 1. That's going to get rid of the Savior and the second form. Although, again, the second form should have been gone from when he did the Savior Gundam link with Athrun earlier on, due to Savior's skill, paying everything 5 or less AP for 2, as opposed to just the enemy board for 2. He is going to run counter with that Battle of Aces to take out the Zeong on swing. It's going to make us the Zeong head. And again, with the right pilot combination, this can be a much more devastating deck than it's been. Unfortunately for the flow of this game, I haven't been seeing the pilots necessary to be a bit more aggressive. But I think that's part of the drawback with red-green, just not having the draw or the ability to cycle. And the other half of my experimentation with this deck, getting away from maybe Pure Zeon, throwing in like the full frontals, or even playing with cards like bases like the Gundam to be able to cycle red cards for a draw, isn't a terrible idea, especially in this instance where we're seeing a lot of Zaku Mariners and they're just kind of sitting there not really doing anything because of the base on board. We need a way to get around not having the right pieces in hand, but that also draws back on playing the Nyan for the Zeon check. Even with like 4 to 6 cards that are non-Zeon in the deck, I can't tell you how many times I've milled into a non-Zeon, one of those 4 to 6 cards, and then just not triggered the ping. And it's like, I kind of lose on the effect of linking for that specific purpose. And it feels a little bit like a wasted effort. But having a, 5/7 link is not too terrible at all. Now El Original is sitting on 2 rebakes on the board, kind of slowing the pace down a little bit because we don't want to swing too aggressively with blockers on board. And on top of that, having the base on is just slowing down with especially the rookies that we have on our board here. It's just not conducive if we don't have a way to bring that base and break it. We don't have the opportunity to swing with those rookie units there. He ends up throwing down a giant killing to take out one of the Zaku Mariners. A little bit of a waste here, but maybe not, considering the board state at the moment. He just needs a way to prevent me from clearing base and letting my rookie be able to swing for shields. And those 2 blockers on board definitely doing the work of making sure that I can't really do anything at this moment, so we're going to swing the G-Fred first. He's going to block with the damaged rebake there. And again, as I was talking about before, not having the draw is just unfortunate for a deck that requires seeing the right pieces and not fizzling out on curve, especially in the last half of the game. We're already at turn 9 here, and we're down to 1 or 2 cards in hand. No real way to, unfortunately, manage resources, especially for a deck that rushes. Just having the right curve from your opponent with bases or blockers makes it really difficult to contend. And I suppose that's the nature of the game. Not really having any outs to specific situations is a little bit unfortunate, but in this instance, it comes down to just top deck, throw bodies on board, and then pass. One of my drawbacks on playing the game, unfortunately, at this point is just that lack of momentum building or momentum maintaining in the latter half of the game. It just feels like there's no real good way to resource manage when it comes down to the last 1 or 2 cards in hand and no real effective combos. It's just essentially a beatdown. A war of attrition going on just between units until one person's standing with more units than the other and no real complex plays being made. There's the last Zeong. There's all 4 Zeong in play, alongside our first copy of the starter deck El Zaku 2. Unfortunately, we've just now seen that. And it is an interesting situation. I definitely could have attempted to swing out. I think it would have been short 1 swing on game. And the consideration there is if he has another base in hand or not. He has seen 3 Minerva, I believe, at this point in the game, so there is a low likelihood of him having the 4th. But he still would have had, I believe, the 2 blockers going into this turn. I would have been down 2 units. And it would have come down to his ability to defend in the last turn. He gets that draw there, and I believe the draw gives him a Battle of Aces. I think he's contemplating if he wants to swing here or not. He is going to pass with that. We had a pretty good board here, so as long as we're able to bring our way through this turn, we pretty much have game, but he has the 2 blockers up and 2 cards in hand. Definitely an opportunity to maybe counter. And sequence swing is going to be very important. So we're going to swing the Zeong first. It's going to put 4 damage on the rebake. We make our Zeong head token. And unfortunately, we just don't have that other pilot to clear, sadly. So we swing with the other Zeong. He's going to Battle of Aces to get rid of my G-Fred. And then he's going to block with the other rebake here. So that makes a second Zeong head token there. I don't have another copy, so we're just going to use a dice here. We have 2 swings left. We got the Zaku Mariner up next. He's going to pay the 2 for a close combat to get rid of the Zaku Mariner, preventing me from swinging for game. We swing with that last one there. No burst check from his last shield. And unfortunately, we can't swing out and we surrender for that last turn for game. Thanks again for watching, guys. Again, if you enjoyed today's feature match video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about what you're most excited to build out of this set there. I know a lot of people have really kind of leaned into solving this meta a little bit with either Ligue Militaire and the Banshee Norn, or some other blue variant of that with the Banshee Norn. A lot of people are leaning on red-white Zeong as opposed to what we were playing last meta with the red-white Providence package. But until the next video, guys, take care.